and I'm here with Dan Muenzer. He's the Vice President of Marketing at Spear in the USA, and he's also the Vice Chair for the Tag and Label Manufacturers Institute, which is the North American-based label association. And we're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in North America and how that relates to the L9 meeting here in Brussels. So Dan, what is the TLMI doing around sustainability and to drive a more environmental friendly manufacturing process within the label market?
Well, thank you, Danielle. That's a topic I could talk about forever because it's near and dear to my heart, and I think TLMI has done a great job leading the industry as far as the various initiatives. We obviously have our LIFE initiative, which is a label-specific accreditation program, and LIFE is an acronym for Label Initiative for the Environment. We now have 50 member sites will be certified by the end of the year, and through that our companies are finding leadership positions with our customers, with the marketplace. It's actually also providing financial savings in many cases. As you know, green initiatives, environmental initiatives oftentimes means minimizing waste and becoming more efficient. So with that comes financial benefits too. I was really excited. Today was actually my first L9 meeting, and a big topic was sustainability, and I definitely got the flavor in the room that it is probably the single biggest joint initiative that we're facing around the world. Yeah, no, it was really good, and what was painfully obvious though was that each region of the world has their own issues. There's not just a one size fits all, and so how do you craft that and work together? And I think we've all agreed to share best practices and to be a lot more open with some of the initiatives and things that we're doing. And you're going to see that in Tokyo, and I'm sure there's other people that are going to be able to talk to this a lot better than I am, but in Tokyo, the L9 actually came out with a declaration on the environment and sustainability. And they've kept it very internal, and the group decided today that we're going to take that further into a position paper where the L9, this is the L9's position on our responsibility to the environment, to be, to end of life, to solving liner recycling, matrix recycling issues, etc., collectively, to set real objectives, to quantify the problem and to set objectives. And I mean, it'll take a while to get everybody in agreement to what that is, but I think it does show that globally the L9 is coming together as a group on sustainability.
Excellent. Excellent. And so this may carry over into the next question, but what do you see as the main difficulties for label converters in North America, and how are they similar and how do they differ from some of the peers that you've met here at the L9?
Well, it's funny because I think there's more similarities than not when it comes to the sustainability issue. Everywhere across the L9, and the whole issue is just volume. It's just the scope. Spear is a pretty large converter. We have pretty large customers. It's a lot easier for us to solve liner recycling issues because we're dealing in full truckloads, we're dealing in tens of millions of pounds, etc. And so for us it's there, but for the majority of the converters in North America, and you're seeing this across the world too, they just don't have the volume to drive the industry for collection, number one. In the States, one issue that we certainly have, and other areas do too, is just the logistics, the distance of the transportation to move product from A to B. So although you may have, in the case of the United States, you may have a solution for waste energy in Wisconsin, you can't ship material from Florida to Wisconsin to take advantage of it. And so at some point, the freight becomes more expensive than the value of the product that you're trying to recycle. So, I mean, that's our biggest thing is trying to pool resources in an industry, to have converters pool our collective customers. So maybe a specific customer, well, in fact, case in point, in Claremont, in Bourbon County, in Kentucky. Okay, there's a lot of bourbon manufacturers. No, a lot of them use them pressure sensitive, and none of them have the volume to justify collection. So we're talking about trying to make some kind of a bourbon cartel where they all work together, right, to collect, liner materials like that, etc. So.
Okay, Dan, so how do you believe label converters around the world should treat sustainability with regard to their business?
Well, I think without question the label industry has to collectively solve the sustainability issue. And I'll tell anybody who listens that sustainability cannot be a competitive advantage, because we as an industry will come under siege if we're not sharing solutions, because we are seen by many more and more as a waste product. I mean, theoretically, 50 to 60% of actually 100% if you consider the labels going on the packages and what happens to those packages. Sure. So we produce waste, and so it's imperative for us to work together and share solutions.
Yeah. I mean, I think to me the thing that scares me a little bit is this whole evolution of flexible packaging and people adopting it. I mean, that is a competitive technology to labels. Right. And if brand owners are seeing flexible packaging as being more sustainable because it's reducing the carbon footprint in delivery, that could eat into the label market if we don't work together.
I agree with that, but then that also provides opportunities, because a lot of flexible packaging is now using resealable pressure-sensitive labels. And so in our case, it's actually labeling of flexible film is probably it is our fastest growing segment at Spear from a percentage standpoint, not from a sheer dollar standpoint. So, I mean, yeah, packaging formats are always going to change, and the smart people are going to adapt and come up with the solutions to solve them. But you're right, it's a threat. Yeah. It's a threat.
Complex.
Stay creative.
Great.
Hi, I'm Akriti Agarwal, editor Label News India, e-newsletter, and for labels and labeling from India. I have with me Mr. Vivek Kapoor, who is the president LMAI and is also the managing director for Creative Labels Private Limited. Along with him is Mr. Sandeep Zaveri, who is the managing director for Total Print Solutions. Mr. Kapoor, could you tell us about the main difficulties for label converters in India?
The present main difficulty which has been lately, the biggest concern is the depreciating rupee, and with that the raw material prices have increased drastically by 15 to 20%, which has to be translated, which is leading to an impact in people moving towards self-adhesive labels.
Right. Do you believe that it is these difficulties are very different from what your peers are facing at the L9 meet?
Yeah, definitely, because basically these all the raw materials are basically coming from abroad by most of the leading label stock manufacturers. Even the ink, the UV inks are coming from abroad. Even the foiling like cold foil and hot foil are basically not being manufactured in India. So there's no backward integration of the raw material, which is eventually going to have an impact on their overall costing, and that's how it's affecting us.
Right. And how do you think that this can be overcome in the Indian market?
This is more a phenomena of India. It's not an association thing, but yes, we are also have to address the problem of sustainability, and which is in the mature markets, and which will eventually trigger off in the Indian market as well.
Right. And what is the demand for quality like within the Indian market?
The quality is people are demanding a better quality of labels, because that's their face to the consumer, where people are buying the product as a first time pick. So, and Indian converters are prepared at a much cheaper cost and have the best of machines and equipment to meet the same requirements as per the international requirements.
Right. And how are the young entrepreneurs like yourself are sort of managing the transition into future leaders?
The Young Managers Club, what is there? We need to be a little aggressive with the young manager guys who are, the advantage with them is it's going to be the education what they have, the attitude what they need to change towards working of the business in a more professional manner with systematic way of working. I think that should also help in the rupee which is being depreciated. I think that should be done.
Thank you so much for your time.
Is that fine?
Hi, I'm Akriti Agarwal, editor Label News India, and my question to you is, how are industry veterans within your association managing the transition of young managers into new leadership roles?
Well, it's a problem area, I think, all over the world for us. I think the L9 is addressing it with the Young Managers Association, bringing younger people through to train them and to try and understudy it. But I think there is a dearth of young people willing to climb up into the industry. And it is a problem because us older fellas are wanting to let go and get out, but we've got our commitments to the business and to the banks, etc. And we've got to bring some younger people through that are going to take the industry on. Rather than having a merge from a family business. I mean, the business I run is a family business, and I'm fortunate I've got a young son that's coming through. But I think around the world it's a problem of what is going to happen to some of the label businesses when they haven't got any successors to come through and take it on.
Right. So what are the solutions for it?
Well, I think the initiative that FINAT have taken in putting on the young managers thing and getting people to that, the fact that we, in some of the countries where I come from, it's a long way to get to some of these programs, have got to try and find someone and train them and be a mentor to them. In my company, I have if you like, a board in which we have an outside business management man who guides Dale and I. He sits on the board and we then pass the information down to our other managers and we report to him. We have a board meeting once a month and we address the problems we've got, and he is the chairman of it. So because it's a young bull, old bull situation with me and my son, so that's the way we've tried to address it, to keep the business sustainable and going.
What's your association doing to drive label industry sustainability in the country?
Hi, my name is Mark Jackson. I'm the president of SELMA from New Zealand. Our organisation has distributed to all our members 5 initiatives that is an ongoing education and training program. SELMA goes out and finds what solutions are available locally for converters, so they know the options that they can both for recycling of matrix and recycling of label waste.
Difficulties that the label converters face in your market?
I'm Darren Milligan. I'm on the LMAI board in Australia. A couple of the key issues we've got are both profitability and I think longer term sustainability. So one of the things the L9 are looking at is the adoption of the ratio survey that's done in the US, and the countries like Australia are taking that on board as a good guidance for converters in our market to compare themselves both to their peer group in Australia, and then down the track we're looking at whether we can compare that to other countries where the ratio survey is also been applied. The other thing that's more medium term but becoming more prevalent in Australia is sustainability, and the importance of that now being driven by retailers and large brand owners. Today we talked about taking what was really a charter statement that was developed in the last meeting and putting a positioning paper underneath that to flesh out what we're going to do as an industry towards sustainability and set some goals and some best practices that each country association can look towards to their industry members to improve the sustainability of the industry in each country.
So could you tell us about some sustainability measures that you spoke about or the goals that you're going to be aiming at that you spoke about today?
The big one was around how we deal with the liner, okay, and mainly the current initiatives are more around having the liner picked up and getting downcycled into another purpose. And it's a very difficult technical challenge to deal with a liner which has silicon on it, to reuse it, but at least using it for a downcycled purpose is better than actually putting it to landfill, which is really the main goal for everyone is to first get away from that starting point of using it for landfill and using it for something, repurposing it for something else.
Thank you so much.